Hi, Eric Gibaud, ericgibaud.com, and today I want to speak about something that we hear more and more. This YouTuber is speaking good about this camera because it's getting paid, or he's speaking bad about this brand because another brand is paying him, and this and this and blah, 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 like this. Okay, so I want to give you my opinion. Can we trust reviews we see about photo gear on the internet, whether YouTube or any other support, or even a paper magazine? Can we trust it? Are these YouTuber or tester getting paid, not paid? Are they honest, not honest? All this. So we're going to speak about it based on my opinion as someone like you that is watching YouTube and listening to what they say, and also as my job as a YouTuber reviewing gear, what I have, the information I have on my side. Okay, so let's start. Obviously, I refer to people who have good intention, not the typical YouTuber that nag about everything or always speak good about everything. In this way, I think you're mature enough to know about the kind of YouTuber you're watching. Also, if we speak about shops that present product, normally they don't evaluate if it's good or bad. They show you the product, they tell you the features, all this. Are these good videos? Well, obviously, as to observe the product, to see and to have a list of features, it's really interesting. Should you just watch this to decide if buying or not? I think not, because it's not enough. But it's good to watch them, to see a close-up of the product, to have a feature list. I think it's interesting. So that's it. What I'm speaking about today is for honest or people who want to be honest at least, okay, and have good intention showing a product. First of all, we must not forget that we are all human. So we can make mistake, we can give an opinion and be wrong or be right, depends, okay? That's important. Second, many people make a big confusion between objectivity and subjectivity. That's important. If you look for an objective opinion, well, you could check the brand website, have all the technical information, and you will know exactly if that camera does this or doesn't do it. That's simple. So from the second a YouTuber or reviewer is going to try a camera, it's always based on his experience, his taste, what he likes, what he doesn't like, all this. So he's going to try to be as honest as possible, but obviously is being influenced by his own way of using a camera, his own way, his own expectation, everything. So it's really hard to be objective. So sometimes opinion may differ for that reason. Then it's important to make a big difference between reviewing and making advertisement. This is really different. Some people are advertising a product and others are testing a product. Obviously, there are laws in Europe and I think also in the US. You have to communicate if you are getting paid, and this is advertisement, okay? And even though you would not say it, YouTube asks you to say it. And if you don't say it and they discover it's actually advertisement, they may close down your channel. So maybe small YouTuber would take the risk, but if you have a large channel, would you take the risk of having it closed down because you didn't tell it was advertisement? So yeah, but it's important you make a difference between advertisement and reviews. They are very different. It's important to make a difference between a professional reviewer and an amateur reviewer. What's the difference? Well, let's say you have a camera, you don't test cameras, you don't review cameras, but one day you decide to speak about it on YouTube. You've been using it for 6 months, a year, and you give your honest opinion. Well, obviously, you bring a lot of experience around the gear that a professional tester, well, probably cannot give. In my case, I review a lot of gear, so obviously I don't use it for 6 months, a year, 2 years. So obviously my opinion is based on my first impression, first test, first days of using it, and that person is giving something a lot more complete. But also it doesn't mean his opinion is objective, because maybe he's in love with the camera, but many other will see many faulty things on the camera and it doesn't see them anymore. So It's not that one is better than the other, but they are different. So it's important to take this into account when you watch a YouTube video. Another big question: how many days, how long time do we have to review gear when we dedicate our time to this? Well, actually, not many days. Some brand leave you a camera for a couple of weeks, a week, sometimes 3 days, 5 days, it all depends. If it's a camera you get just prior to the announcement of the new camera, normally you don't have many days. Why? Because they need to have it secret. They need to lend it to many YouTubers, so you'd have it for maybe 3, 4, 5 days, sometimes less. So it's hard to tell, yes, I had it for a long time. No, you had it for 3 days, and you had 3 days to have an opinion about this camera. And the big question is it possible to have an opinion in 3 days, or in a week, or in 2 weeks? Is it possible because that guy who's been using that camera for 2 months has a better opinion? Well, it all depends. If you look at a guy from the Michelin Guide who goes to a restaurant every day and is able to decide if this restaurant is worth 1, 2, 3 stars, probably he has a perfect mouth and tongue and all this to taste and know exactly the food and all this. And maybe I would need to go to also many restaurants or many times to this one to make sure this food is perfect. But his experience allows him to be able to decide, okay? In the case of a YouTuber that is reviewing gear, there's something that is similar. If someone lends me a Canon camera, obviously I don't have to think about the menus. I know Canon menus, I don't have to think, so I don't waste time with that. I go straight to the point. Nikon, same thing, Sony, same thing, and everything. So maybe you get your first camera, it takes you 2 weeks to understand the menus. And I understand it takes time for you, but for me not, because about 95% of all cameras in the same brand have the same menu. So it's so fast, it's so quick, you don't waste time on that. So this is time you can dedicate to test the camera, and you don't have to be searching the menus how it works. So it's important to see that the time a professional reviewer it needs is less. Same thing with cars. When you look at car reviewers, they don't have it for 3 weeks, and still they're able to think if this car is good or not good. But when you go and buy a car, you go to the garage and can I drive it around for 10 minutes? And you make your decision on these 10 minutes. Do you think this decision you make for buying your car is a good one? Can you judge a car in 10 minutes? Obviously not, okay? But if you were testing cars every day, probably yes, you would be able to make the right decision. So see the point. It also depends on the way the YouTuber is reviewing. Some people, they just want to transmit impression, opinion, how does it feel in your hand, how does it feel when you use the camera or the lens. And others, they want to have really precise information or precise testing or a user guide. Obviously, if you're doing a user guide, it takes weeks of using the camera, each feature, how you set it, explain how it works, all this. It takes a lot of time. But someone who wants to test the camera doesn't necessarily want to make a video as a user guide, so it doesn't need to investigate as long or spend so much time. In my case, because I speak for myself, I always try to put myself in the place of the buyer. So if I see an advertisement of a new camera, I see what point, what feature they really want to stand out. And I'm going to test this one, because this is the one the buyer will see and decide if he buys or not. For example, when I reviewed the Nikon P900, I didn't like the camera. I really love the 950 and the 1000, but I didn't like the 900. And the advertisement of Nikon was around. It can go up to the equivalent of 2400 millimeters in full frame, when most bridge cameras at that time were going up to 1200. So, okay, no problem. I'm going to test this space from 2400 to from 1200 to 2400 to see if what you say is right. Focusing was not going good, it didn't work properly, all this. Some people flame me when I published my video. Others agreed. Others came back 3-4 months later, said, at the end you were right. It doesn't work as you've commented. It's no good. Okay, so I test that. Why? Because this is the advertisement you're going to see and probably you want to buy. So I have to test that to tell you if it's true or not. It's like if you have a restaurant and it says specialty hamburgers. I try your hamburger, it's no good. Listen, this hamburger is no good. Oh yeah, but I also have pizza and pasta. Yeah, but your advert says you're the king of burgers. Okay, so I have to check that. And some people should not understand that. This is why I test this part. Even if the rest is good, most buyers will make their decision on this advertisement. So I have to test that, okay? So for me, there are other things I don't speak about in my videos, otherwise they will take hours. There are some features, they've been going all right for years in this brand or in many brands. So maybe it's your first camera and you would like to know about it, but it's pointless. We all know this works. I don't have, or this doesn't work, doesn't matter, but I don't have to go back to this again. So normally I try to test and give an impression and test the new features and new things, what the brand wants to have standing out, okay? Other YouTubers do different. Some people want to have really a scientific way of doing it. Some people want to have just a general feeling. It all depends, okay? So do you need a lot of time? It depends on you and what you want to transmit. Big question. Is it possible that a YouTuber has an opinion about a gear he did not have in his hand? Well, if he wants to speak about the feeling in your hand, obviously he cannot. But if you speak about features and things the camera does or doesn't do, I think he can, obviously. Obviously, you have all the specs communicated by the brand, the maker, you can analyze, and there are many things you know what it means. If it says no viewfinder, you know what the consequences of having or not a viewfinder. You know if it says no mechanical shutter, you know what it means. If it says no IBIS, you know what it means. You know how it can affect the results. Do you need to have the camera in your hand to decide if this is good or not for you, or give your opinion about this? Obviously not. But actually, many people who criticize this is when a YouTuber says something bad about a brand they love. If they love such brand, X for example, and the YouTuber says, no, that camera is no good, then they just flame the guy. But on the other hand, if this is a brand that the watcher doesn't actually like, he will fully agree with the YouTuber, even if this one did not have the camera in his hand. You are right, you are right. So that's nonsense, okay? And also, most of us, we buy things without testing them. When we actually go traveling, we go to a travel agent or on the internet, and we make our decision, sometimes a lot of money, based on what the travel agent is telling, speaking about an hotel he has never been to, never stayed in, or country he's never visited, but he has read some information, gives you his opinion, and you buy. That's it. Or sometimes yourself on the internet, you see a small information, or on Airbnb, you book an apartment with a few pictures, a bit of text, sometimes some opinion, but sometimes not. And you spend your money on that. And you didn't test it before. Do you travel this year to know where you will travel next year, to test first and go back to the same place? Obviously not. So if you can do that, or why a YouTuber cannot do it? If he's experienced in analyzing specs, he can have an opinion, obviously. Obviously, he cannot give you the opinion about the feeling in your hand, but many points he can have a general opinion. Maybe not a precise, complete opinion, but general opinion, yes, he can, obviously. When you check a review, is it trustable 2, 3 years, 4 years later? Well, the thing is this way. I'm going to speak about my own experience. When I reviewed the bridge camera Sony H400, I really liked it, I recommended it, many people bought it and commented they were really happy with it. And after a couple of years, some people started to comment. Yeah, I bought it, I loved it, it was great, but one day I had, sudden death and Sony doesn't repair it. I cannot know that when I review the camera because the camera has been on the market for a week. I don't know how it will be in 2 years time, 3 years time, 4 years time. It's impossible. Same thing with people who bought a Leica M9 that had corrosion on the sensor. Reviewer could not know that. They were not 3 years ahead. So at that time, it was impossible to know. And this is when it's really interesting to also check reviews of people who've been using a product for 2 years, a year, 6 months, because they know a bit more how the evolution of the product is going. Is this piece of plastic falling apart, or this button broke, or whatever. So this is something they can bring to you, but a person who reviews the camera when it comes out or has it for a week cannot know that. He cannot know how it will evaluate in time. It's impossible. Many people forget that nowadays there are no bad cameras. I don't speak about lenses a bit, I speak about cameras. Some are better, some are faster, some are easier, but if we look at image quality, there are no more bad cameras. It means when a YouTuber says many things that are really positive, some people think, yeah, he's not honest because he doesn't say anything negative. Because probably there is nothing negative. It's a matter of personal taste. I prefer this grip, I prefer this autofocus, I prefer this, I prefer that. But if you look at image quality, there's no point. If the guy, maybe you need to do a sport photography and you're claiming something that this camera doesn't have, but doesn't make it a bad camera. It makes it a bad camera for what you want to do. So this YouTuber doesn't know how you're going to use it. So for him, maybe he does different type of picture. It's no problem for him. It's important not to forget that there are no cameras that do bad image quality nowadays. What may happen is that the price is not related to the feature it offers. It may be overpriced or underpriced. If it's underpriced, no one is complaining, obviously. But if it's overpriced, yeah, that may happen. So for what it offers, I think it's a bit expensive, okay? But otherwise, there are no bad cameras anymore. I think there is a kind of YouTuber that is even worse than the YouTuber they're criticizing. They are the negationists. These people that think that anyone that speaks good about a camera is because he's getting paid. If he speaks bad about a brand, it's because another brand is paying him for doing this and all this. This is nonsense. First, there are laws. Second, there are YouTube rules, all this. So yes, there are some YouTubers that get paid, but this is a really small part. Most of the reviews you see, they don't get paid. Others will tell you, yes, but he does that because he gets the lens for free or the camera for free. Well, camera, normally you don't get them for free. Lens, as I explained before, very often you don't give them back because it's more expensive to send them back than to keep them. I speak about all the Chinese lenses, for example. Here I've got about 50 lenses. Do you think my daughter will eat out of these lenses? I've got 15 tripods. Do you think they will have food for this tripod? Obviously not. So maybe a new YouTuber with a small channel is really enthusiastic to receive a lens. Is the first one he can test, okay? And he's get it, will keep it. So he's happy about it. But after a while, you don't look for that. What you look is for testing new gear, and you cannot buy everything. So it's great if they send it to you, you can test it, show it to your audience. Very often people ask you, what is your opinion about such camera, what other camera, all this. And actually you cannot buy everything. So that's good, you can do that. And yes, do I make money? Yes, because after it makes visits, YouTube pays me, and people who like a product will still be able to click on a link and buy it. I get a small fee for that. So yeah, that's the way it works. But I still speak bad about some product and good about others. It doesn't matter if there is an affiliated link or not. And I think most of us, we're honest. And if you look at a car magazine, is the tester getting paid? Obviously it does. Obviously he's getting paid. So is it honest? Probably yes. So why should a YouTuber not get paid for what he does? I don't speak paid by the brand, but earning money. So these people are actually nagging on YouTube about other YouTubers. They speak about this one, about that one. They give names, all this. They could speak in a generic way, but very often they give name to make buzz, so people go and watch the video. So actually, they do exactly what they are criticizing. And very often, these people they actually have a work. They have some money every month, they have a wage, and they don't need YouTube to eat. But very often YouTubers spend 8-10 hours a day, they need to make money. So they do make money, and what's the problem if it's made honestly? I don't speak about getting paid by brand, I mean earning money out of YouTube, affiliated links, or YouTube itself. So what's the problem? Doesn't mean we are not honest. That's nonsense. Very often people do that. They're simply jealous and they would like to make the money and they're not happy in their work and they just nag about others. Basically, that's the way it is. And sometimes we have to spend money. Like, look, I'm testing the Pentax 17. Okay, they lent it to me. And first time in my life, this camera fell on the floor. Here, I have a small bump here, here. Result, I'm going to pay for it. I had to give it back, but I'm going to pay for it. So, yeah, we do have to spend money. It's not just earning money, okay? And this, because I wanted to show this camera. I'm not getting paid by Pentax, no Digit Photo lent it to me, but we'll buy it because it fell on the floor. That's the way it is. Some people think that you are positive because you have affiliated links. Well, actually, on one video, maybe that could influence, but actually, if you look over a year, you don't always speak positive about every product anyway. And some people will buy or will not buy, sometimes speak bad about a product, and people still use my affiliated links to buy this product because they feel it's for them. But affiliated links is a bonus. It's a way of thanking you for your work, for the time you spent analyzing a product. And yeah, it doesn't mean you're not honest. And it's a bonus. Sometimes people will buy, will not buy. If they don't buy this one, they buy the other one. But if they feel in general you're honest, even a product you speak bad about it, maybe they still buy him, or they buy another one, but they use your links because they feel you do good work, and that's it. So I think most YouTubers are not doing videos for the affiliated links. The affiliated links is a bonus, okay? It's a plus, a way of thanking the YouTuber to have done his work, okay? But in the long run, it's always better to be honest. Maybe YouTuber just arrived to the business, it tend to exaggerate the quality of a product, thinking that will make people buy. But many people check other channel and other reviews anyway. So if they feel you're not too honest, it will not work. So yeah, I think this does not influence really. Something I really hate is when people say, "Oh, this title is a clickbait." Well, sorry, but clickbait is actually when you see the video and it has nothing to do with the title. Let's say it says become millionaire. So you click on it and you get to the video, it doesn't speak about this. Yes, this is a clickbait. But when the title actually covers or represents a big part of the video, that's not a clickbait. This is a good title. And I think in journalism, people learn how to have a catchy title. So headlines, so people would say, "Oh, I want to read the article." But the headlines has to represent part or big part of the article or the video. And I see many people calling clickbait something that is not a clickbait, because actually it does represent the content of the video. So maybe you don't like the video, it's acceptable, but don't say it's a clickbait just because you clicked and then you didn't like the video. If the headline, the title reflects the video, this is not a clickbait. It's just a catchy headline, a catchy title. That's it. No more than this. Never forget that your taste, what you like, doesn't mean this is what I like or my taste or my way of using a product. So it means sometimes you can see a review and feel that, oh yeah, what he's saying is not true, is not right, is wrong. No, it doesn't mean I'm wrong or you are right or vice versa. It depends. We have different point of view because different way of using it, or different taste, different opinion, different likes. So that's it. Second, don't make a big confusion between being enthusiastic or euphoric with dishonest. When I presented the Fujifilm XS20, many people thought I was paid by Fuji because I was really happy about it. No, I was not getting paid, and in fact, I bought the camera after. I love the camera, and that's it. I'm human, I was happy about it, I loved it, I said it. That's it. It's not just me, many people like this, about any gear, okay? Sometimes people think that we have a brand that obliges us to tell such or such thing about a camera. With cameras and lenses, I never had it. Other accessories, it happened to me, and then I said no, I didn't want to review the product because they obliged me to say such thing. Normally, what they give you are specifications. They don't tell you to say if it's good or bad. They just say that, listen, this camera now has 8K. It would be good if you would say it. but they don't tell to say it's good 8K or bad 8K, it works well, it doesn't work well. Just test that feature because it's new. They just say that. Or they sometimes they ask you to have the review ready for such date because that's the day they start selling it. So that's logical also. Or they ask you, you have an NDA, no, it's called a no divulgation agreement. You cannot tell anything about the camera before such day. That's logical because of competition. But normally, brand, they never ask you to say exactly such thing or such thing in such way. They let you do what you want. Most, at least with my experience, I never had any brand who told me you have to say that. Okay, the only time I said no, it was a Filmora product that gave me what I had to say. I said no, I don't want to say that. I said what I want, and the grid, okay, say what you want, and that's it. Okay, so normally you don't have such problem. And I think most YouTubers are really honest. We all heard the big scandal about the Insta360. Insta360, the 360 degrees camera, I have one. And they started to send an email to the YouTubers that were sponsored by them, telling that it would be good if they would not communicate they were getting paid for that. And this YouTuber, what they did was to communicate it to their audience, say, listen, 360 just sent me that. First, I'm telling I was getting paid. I'm not going to stop telling it, and I'm going to stop working with 360 Insta360. And that shows they're honest. And Insta360 was not. And actually, I have this camera. I was going to review it, but decided not to because I didn't want to be mixed up with this whole story. I paid for the camera, but I didn't want people to think I was getting paid because many people always think we're getting paid. I'm not, but I didn't show the camera because I don't want to have people think Insta360 had paid me and asked me not to tell it, okay? Sometimes I think brand, they put some psychological pressure in the way that they invite you to a place or things like this, and you don't tell the whole truth, part of it sometimes. Not because you're not honest, but because if I invite you for dinner, it's hard to say the food is no good. So they try to be as nice as possible. I think this YouTuber must understand that they must be on the side of their audience, not on the side of the brand. The brand invites you, but to have an opinion, not to give the opinion they want you to give, okay? So maybe some YouTubers should better be this part. It doesn't mean they are dishonest. It means that they feel that it would be like a bit ugly or rude to speak about bad about something if you've been invited to some place to test it. No, you must be on the side of your audience, and the brand must understand it. That's the way it works, okay? I feel this is this way. That's what happened with the Panasonic S9. I think it's overpriced for what it is, and not every YouTuber were exactly pointing at the lack of technical feature that we needed on that camera. Okay, conclusion. Well, don't forget that the final decision is yours. So no one obliges you to buy something just because you've watched a review, but I recommend you see several reviews, different YouTuber, magazine, all this, to have different point of view. Some people are more technical, some people are just feelings and things like this. So checking several reviews will help you make the right decision. Do I think most reviews are honest? Yes, I think most are honest. Sometimes they're maybe enthusiastic, too much, but I think most YouTubers are honest with their opinion. Maybe it doesn't correspond to your opinion, but I still think most of them are honest. Obviously, there are some black sheep among the business, like in any business. Obviously, some people are not honest. It exists, okay? But I think most of them are honest. I think many reviews are reliable, but you need to see several, and when you complete all of them, you have the full view about the product and you make the right decision whether buying or not. So that's it. This is my conclusion. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you feel it may interest other people, please share it on social networks. If you have not done it yet, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. There's a small button down here and also a small bell. If you click on the bell, you will get notified when I upload a new video. My website, ericgibaud.com. If you have any question, you can leave a comment below. Also leave you links of my gear on Amazon, links of everything I reviewed by K&F Concept, Sandmarc and Flashes by Westcott, more affiliated links, and also a link to my PayPal account in case you wanted to make a donation. Thank you very much. Please take care of yourself and see you soon. Bye.